JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 1st of September 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone guys. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session. Welcome to this first trading day of autumn officially. So yeah guys, before we jump into the charts, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can check out for more information about us. So now then, jumping into the charts guys, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and so far everything is working according to the plan. If you remember, in the beginning of this week I said that look, if we drop, and actually at the end of last week I said that look, if we drop below this hurdle, below this highlighted territory here, we might play around a little bit around here, but if we continue to trade below this highlighted zone, then yeah, I will continue aiming to the downside. My next target will be this 200-day EMA together with the 27,524 level. Now, looking at this picture here, I would say at the moment I am still targeting that area, although I might say actually that kind of mission accomplished already, but still, you know, that little element that of me inside of me wants to see actually a test of this 200 and the 100-day EMAs, of these 200 and 100-day EMAs, and to see what's going to happen further. Will we rebound, or will we actually break it and move all the way towards this upside line taken from the low of the 20th of June? We're not far from it, so you know, might as well kind of end up testing it, right? However, let's see what's going to happen here. Ideally, of course, I would like to see such a test and then maybe a rebound from it. But let's go slowly. I would say if you've missed this run, then yes, don't really do anything yet, because again, at this point, I think that it's just, I would prefer to watch this one instead of like doing anything, because again, maybe we'll have something like this happening where, you know, it will rebound again and maybe, you know, push some, or actually the other way around. I think this way it should be, or it might like end up being something like this. However, with the upside scenario, if you're looking for some upside scenario, then certainly a push above this highlighted zone would do the trick for a few more buyers. But we're not there yet, so at the moment I'm examining the downside. Shanghai Composite, so yeah, this one still is trading around that 3,200 zone and slightly below it, so yeah, it's not really picture perfect here. I would say I'm still sticking to the same game plan. I would like to see a stronger move below that 3,200 zone in order to go further south. Pretty much, like I said, straightforward here, and for the upside, I'm watching this area. I know that we could be missing out on a bit of territory, but to be honest, all this area here up until this downside line would be not the most comfortable area for me. So that's why I would prefer to wait for a break above this hurdle, this 3,295 zone, and then we could go higher. Now, Australian index, so ASX 200, beautiful drop, and there we go. So if you've waited for this, guys, then yes, wonderful. So what I talked about yesterday and actually this whole week, I said that, look, keep your eyes on this highlighted zone right there. It might present itself with a nice opportunity if it gets broken and we stay below it. Well, you can see that we broke it and we stayed below it, and we continue to slide, and we broke this upside line as well, taken from the low of the 20th of June. So long story short, right now what I'm looking at here is, of course, a continuation move further south. Let's not exclude an opportunity maybe to see something like this, maybe a bit of a retracement, maybe a push back to this upside line, and then if it holds, if it struggles to get back above this 6,950 territory, then well, we could see another decline like that towards this this other tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 20th of June. So like right now, I would say if you're looking for some upside, that's the area that I'm going to be watching for. However, at the moment, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside. So yeah, let's see how this is going to play out. Now, the German index, DAX, declined, and we moved nicely away from this area, from this territory right there, the 13,000 mark. I talked about this yesterday, and we got that decline, and we got that drop, and most importantly, we found support near that 12,828 level, the one that I kept on talking about. So we got that hold up. However, right now, looking at the cash index, we can see that it is drifting further south. So far, everything's working out according to the plan, because again, yesterday I said to you, look, if it's going to stay somewhere below this area, yep, I'm going to consider another decline here, and this is what's happening, and this is what we're getting right now. And most importantly, we're getting a drop below that 12,828 zone. My next target here is the 12,439, 391 levels, so approximately around here, basically the low of the 14th of July and the 5th of July, so respectively. So yeah, that's going to be my next target. And by the way, the 12,439 is actually the lowest point of March. So it just coincides almost with the low of the 14th of July. So I'll keep an eye on these lowest point of March and the lowest point of July areas. That's going to be my next target. If we continue to trade below this 12,828 zone, if we climb back above it, I'll take a neutral stand. If we start pushing through this 13,000 mark again, or maybe even better, 13,000 and maybe 42, 85, something like that, then yep, this is where I'm going to get a little bit more interested with maybe seeing a larger correction here to the upside. Nasdaq 100 very quickly. So another good hold up near this upside line. We tested it again. This upside line is taken from the low of the 16th of June. So yep, everything's quite clear here. However, the cash index is showing that we've broken this upside line and we've dropped below that 12,259 zone. So we're trading below it now, and this means that, well, if it's going to stay below this upside line and this hurdle, I'm going to continue aiming lower. My next target is the 12,051 or even the psychological 12,000 mark. That's what I'm going to be aiming for. And do we have an interesting level right here? Let me just grab this one. There we go. So not far from that psychological 12,000 mark, just a little bit below it. So that's a good, interesting level right here. Not to mention, actually, okay, I think I need to bring in a few more lines. Okay, so this is going to be quite interesting. So basically, the way you can play this one out is, that's a good target, the 11,820 territory. So the way you can play it out here, and this is where I'm going to draw the line arrow like this. If we stay below the 12,259, I'm going to continue aiming lower. Then let's say if you have a larger position, let's assume you have a larger position, then you can start taking your profits first here. Then if it continues to slide, you take another profit here, and then you take another profit here. However, that's only in the scenario if we have if we can stay below this hurdle. If we struggle, if we reverse back to the upside and we stay, we climb back above this upside line, then well, ignore the downside scenario, and we could maybe see a little bit of a nice corrective move higher. Now, by the way, just to mention as well that this idea of with a head and shoulders pattern with the neckline being like this with a little incline worked out nicely, so we can say mission accomplished, because again, my target was here, the 12,259, so that's great. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reuse it for this. So if you're looking for some upside, guys, wait for a break of this downside line, and also depending on how this is going to play out, we can see that the 21-day and the 100-day EMAs are kind of going to be near this downside line, or might even slide along it to the downside. So if we break this, that would present itself with a nice opportunity to the upside. So keep that in mind. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. So we declined. Oh, and by the way, look at this. Yesterday I talked about this little hurdle here, 31,973. Boom. We got a beautiful hold up here. We did retrace. We got a beautiful hold up here, and we declined. So great. So that's good news. Now my target is my next target is the upside support line taken from the low the 17th of June, which is let me just double check with the cash index right now. We are currently sitting at around 31,380 zone, so basically somewhere around here. So yes, we're declining. We're getting closer to this upside line. So let's see if we can actually now. Okay, this arrow needs to be adjusted, so let's see if we can get something like this. If we can get that, that's great. If we cannot, we break this this upside line. That's where it could open up, more opportunities for more sellers. Let me just grab this line. I'm gonna reuse it. Didn't really work very well, I would say. So I think yeah, there we go. That's a good target here, 30,979. But before that, let's see if we can actually find a better level. No, unfortunately, I would say no. It's not really ideal here. Okay. In that case, this upside line will remain my main target. So at the moment, like I said, yeah, I'm going to aim for this upside line. If we get a hold of somewhere around here, great, we'll have a nice rebound, or we could have a nice rebound, and we could see a push back to the upside. However, if this upside line gets broken and we start falling below that 31,000 mark, well, guys, guess what? This could open the door to those lower levels. DXY, the dollar index, there we go, trying to move higher. Of course, keep your eyes today on the news in general. Today is could be quite an interesting day. We do have some European manufacturing PMIs coming out, but of course for DXY, it's the ISM manufacturing PMI number that's going to be on the lookout. And yep, initial jobless claims before that, together with the continuing jobless claims. So yeah, let's see how that's gonna play out. But at the moment, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this barrier still, this 109.29 zone. If we do clear this again, and most importantly, stay above it, yep, I'm gonna aim for higher levels. If we don't, well, back to the drawing board. But I'm not going to say I'm going to be very bearish or something. No, for me to start looking at some lower levels, I need to see a drop somewhere below this 108.08 level, and then yeah, we could go a little bit lower. Now jumping into gold. Here, declined. Yep, it continued to move lower. It reached my target, the 1711 zone. Perfect. Okay, so that's great. We even dropped below it and stayed below it, and we continued to trade below it. So now my next target is the 1681 zone, to be honest. Or actually, let me just correct myself a little bit here. My next target is the psychological 1700 mark. How we're going to play out near that area, well, let's wait and see. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this area, the 1700 zone. I'm going to be aiming for that one. We're not far from it, so might as well test it. But if we clear it, then yes, like I said, my next target is the lowest point of July near the 1681 level. If you're looking for some upside, well, I would say the upside in terms of a larger correction to the upside, that's probably the only upside I'm looking at right now. If we push back somehow above the 1728 zone, then yeah, I'll consider a larger correction here to the upside. Silver. So I talked about silver yesterday. I said that, look, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but yep, you can see why I picked up on it, and you can see that, look, yesterday I talked about this, and I said that keep your eyes on that 1815 zone. We were still above it. We were not far from it, so if we break that and stay below it, guys, I mean, this could open the door towards lower levels. And to be honest, this 16.95 area, or approximately near that 17 level, could be the next target. So at the moment, I'm going to aim for that as long as we stay below this 18.15 level. If we climb back above it, if we travel back above it, then yeah, we might see maybe a bit of a retracement. However, like I said, keep your eyes on it, and we do have an eventful week ending, so you know, we have some news today coming out, and we do have some news, of course, coming out tomorrow. So yeah, like, keep that in mind. Also, looking at the weekly candle, this is where what I like to do sometimes. So basically, yeah, we have moved lower, but will it not end up being like a false breakout here? Now, that's a good question. At the moment, of course, leaning towards the downside as long as we stay below this hurdle. If we stay below it, yeah, my next target, as I said, is this 16.95 zone. So keep that in mind. We made a lower low right now, so let's see if we can continue doing that, continue creating that lower low. WTI oil very quickly, so yeah, drifting nicely to the downside, and this 90.58 zone, I talked about this yesterday, if you remember. We've dropped below it, so yep, my next target is the 85.74 zone. That's what I'm going to be aiming for at the moment. I'm not going to drag this one way too much to the downside. If we find good support around here, maybe we could see a little rebound or something like that. For the upside, I need to see a push at least back above the 200-day EMA and above that 95 territory. And until then, I'm just observing this one, and want to see what's going to happen further. Litecoin. So I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, basically, but yeah, it's moving in a similar fashion as other cryptos. My point of interest is not the whole slide itself, actually, but from the shorter term perspective, this key support zone, this 52.61 level, which somehow is doing its job in providing resistance. Also, what I'm looking at here is this, in the near term, this kind of, you know, downside line. Again, very tentative, guys. I mean, we could draw it maybe this way as well, you know, like, you can draw it either way. Still, the kind of the idea doesn't change. If it is a descending triangle, then, well, we're planning to see maybe a drop lower here. But if this is gonna, you know, violate this downside line, we push above that 21-day EMA, okay, great, we could go a little bit higher. That's my ideally, of course, my upside scenario is from here, but we can start looking at some higher levels already from a break, after a break of this little downside line, because at the same time we'll be placed above the 21-day EMA. But of course, percentage-wise, I would say I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, just because of the, you know, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside. So yep, this is my preferred scenario right now, with the next target being the 41.66 level. But again, let's not rush into anything, because we have seen these situations happening, you know, these patterns, you know, not working out according to the books. However, will it be the case this time? Again, let's wait and see. Now, jumping into a few pairs, guys, very quickly. AUDUSD, boom, there we go. We have our drop. We have our violation of the so-called neckline, and yep, everything's looking quite nice here for the sellers, or at least it seems so. Now, as long as it stays below the so-called neckline, I'm going to continue targeting the downside. My next target is the 0.6680 zone. That's what I'm going to be aiming for. And yeah, like I said, at the moment I am aiming for that, as long as we stay below the neckline. If we climb back above the neckline, I'm going to take a bit of a neutral stand, because, okay, previously I talked about this 0.70 territory as for my upside. Yes, that's the more convenient and comfortable level for me. But I would say if you're looking for some upside, 0.6904 zone is the one to watch, is the one to keep an eye on. And if we clear that one, then maybe I'll start aiming for the upside here towards that 100-day EMA, and then we'll go from there, kind of. So you know, and then we can do something like that later on. But again, let's keep an eye on this one. At the moment, I'm leaning towards the downside, so let's see if that's going to happen or not. AUDJPY, again, this one's quite interesting because basically at the moment it's flat. It's kind of really doesn't know what to do. On one hand, you have a you have the kind of the market which has already declined, and this is, by the way, an interesting thing here. So AUDJPY is kind of, you know, your risk monitor basically in general. So whenever the market equity markets go up, AUDJPY jumps up as well. However, when the stock market starts reversing back to the downside, everybody starts jumping into the yens as a safe haven. This didn't really happen as in a strong way as it, for example, as our, you know, DAX, our DAX, Nasdaq, or DJIA was showing. So basically, we were seeing those declines, but you know, AUDJPY did not really drop significantly. So that kind of, you know, gives us a hint that maybe the stock market could reverse a little bit to the upside, and maybe this is where, you know, this could come in nicely. The fact that AUDJPY so far is holding above this downside line, which it broke, and then, you know, we could see a nice reversal here, a nice rebound to the upside. However, if we continue, let's say, for example, on the Dow Jones Industrial Average or Nasdaq, we continue to slide here further south, then yep, maybe this is where it could come that AUDJPY would break back below this downside line, and what we will have ourselves, we could ourselves have a nice little range here. So because as you can see here, this level, this 95.75 area, did provide good resistance. We failed to stay above it. We did break it, but we failed to stay above it. So, you know, now we can, let's see if this is not going to end up being something of a range. But for that, this is where I need to adjust a few levels. I think this, I previously have drawn this 94.84 level, but I think I'm gonna adjust this a little bit, so that it would be a little bit more in line with this downside line and with this 21-day EMA. So a nice good drop, this 94.62, a nice good drop below it, yep, may open the door towards lower levels. Initially then, my next target will be this 100-day EMA. USDJPY, so also waiting guys. Yeah, this is not really doing much. It's getting a hold up near that 139.39 level. Yes, we overshot it today, but we're still just struggling to, you know, stay above it. So if you're looking for some higher levels, again, it could still be a nice opportunity to step in, but I need, given that we have the news coming out from the US, I will be a little bit on the careful side. Now, certainly, it could present itself with a nice opportunity if you manage to get yourself on the right, on the correct direction. But at the moment, I would say, you know, given that the ISM are coming out from the US, the NFPs are coming out as well for tomorrow. So I'd rather leave it. I just want to see what's going to happen here. If it continues to get a hold up near that this barrier, okay, we could see a move lower, but I'll get a little bit more comfortable with the downside if we do drop below this hurdle here, below this 137.71, and then yeah, I'll aim lower. But for the upside, yeah, I need that pop. I need that, or should I say, not a pop, but I need to see the pair staying above that 139.39 level. USDCAD. So moving to the upside, everything is kind of working out nicely, I would say, or should I say at least relatively nicely, because again, it's as I said before, my second least favorite pair to trade, because again, it's, although you think that you're right, but sometimes it just makes some moves that it kind of disbalances you, and then you start I'm kind of thinking, or is it correct or is it not? But actually, you were at the end of the day, you are correct. You just need to leave a bigger room for a stop loss. So if you like to trade this one, then probably you have a bigger stop loss on this one. You might, like I said, you are right most of the times here, but yeah, you need to kind of allow this pair to walk, and that's for sure. So long story short, we broke the 1.3063 level. We've stayed above it, great, and this is so far working out according to the plan. So what I said before, that if we break above it and stay above it, then yeah, I'll go higher. You see here on the 29th, on Monday, we had a break, but we failed to stay and we drifted lower. Then on the next day, on the 30th, we broke above this barrier, we stayed above it, and now we're continuing to move higher. My next target is the 1.3224 level here, marked by the highest point of July, and then we'll go from there. GBPUSD, so just a quick update, continues to slide, and yep, so far so good. So far so good. As I said before, my next target is the 1.1414 level, although maybe some of the bulls don't like that, but hey, that's the lowest point of March of 2020. That's the pandemic period, and now we're kind of getting towards that. The pound right now is not feeling great. It's weakening. I would say so far I'm leaning towards the downside. I'm not really, getting very comfortable with the upside, any upside scenarios, and unless it climbs back somehow above this, and this is where I need to adjust my arrow a little bit, unless it climbs back above this barrier right there, but back above this, 1.1760 zone right there, the highlighted one. If it climbs above it, okay, great. We can start maybe looking at some higher levels. But at the moment, yeah. It is how it is. EURCHF, just a quick update. Okay, mission accomplished. Boom, team, we're heading home. Well, not really, actually. I mean, let's see if we can squeeze something out of this again. For now, the fact that we are still trading above this hurdle here, above this 0.98 territory, that's a good thing. It could be a good thing for the buyers. We are still trading above this high of of August, or actually, sorry, not the high of August, the previous high of August, because the high of the 5th of August, because yesterday we created a new high for August. That was interesting. So if you look at the monthly chart like this, you'll see a nice, good old reversal to the upside. So don't get me wrong, we could see this one drifting a little bit back down, and I would say if we stay somehow above that 0.97 territory, I will aim for the upside. So in other words, at the moment, what I'm going to be looking at, ideally I would like to see the pair staying above the 0.98 territory, but of course I'm considering that there could be some some stronger moves. So something like this, if we remain above that 0.97 territory or even above that 21-day EMA, yeah, I'm gonna continue targeting that 100-day EMA. EURGBP, so I don't look at this one very often, guys, because I hate it, but hey, just sometimes, occasionally you have to look at it. And look at this, Euro is getting stronger against the British pound. After it broke this downside line, it pushed nicely to the upside. It cleared this 0.8585 level. Now it's aiming for that 0.8678 level. That's my next target. But again, I'm not excluding, maybe, like I said, maybe seeing a bit of a retracement of some sort like that. If it does a retracement like that, then I'm going to be aiming not only for this level, but actually for this level as well. If it does not do this bigger retracement and starts pushing higher, I'm only aiming for the 0.8678 level. So because in that case we would be quite overstretched maybe in the short run. So maybe a bit of a retracement then after could be possible. So once again, if we right now we do start seeing let's say a bigger retracement right now to the downside, then yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on the 0.8585 level. If we rebound from it, then yeah, I'm gonna aim for this 0.8721, which is the highest point of June. But if we don't do a bigger, let's say, retracement to the downside, then my next target only is the 0.8678, because again, like in the short run, we would be a little bit overstretched, and then maybe after hitting this area, I would consider a little retracement back to the downside. So this is the short-term kind of view. Again, like I said, this is my least favorite pair to to trade, or to do something about it, because it sometimes just has a mind of its own. So I'm trying to apply logic here, but hey, it sometimes just does what it wants to do. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So EURUSD, okay, this is quite interesting. So we've pushed above that barrier, the 1.0032, and we moved nicely to the upside, and we almost managed to reach that 21-day EMA. So this is one of those moments where it's not really kind of working out according to the plan. However, the day is not finished. The day has just started. And if we somehow manage to climb back above this 1.0032 territory, then we'll have ourselves a nice little false breakout to the downside, and then we could consider another, a further move higher, a further correction to the upside. But if we start drifting closer to this 0.9952 territory, guys, then well, maybe it's we're not really done with the downside. So keep that in mind. If we start, like I said, if we start getting closer to this area, I'm gonna get quite bearish, and we could see a further decline here. But at the moment, I'm watching this 1.0032. Like I said, we're currently drifting below it, but can we stay below it? Now that's a good question. If we somehow still manage to, like I said, end up being above this hurdle, then we'll have ourselves, as I said before, a false breakout, and we could then aim for that 21-day EMA or even a little bit higher. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Guys, be very careful today and tomorrow, of course. We do have quite an eventful day today and tomorrow. So let's see how everything's going to play out. I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Believe me. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.